Hello, everyone, and welcome to our show. Welcome, Sandra Racco.
Thank you. Nice to see you again.
Thank you. Sandra, Monday, October 27th, another election.
I know.
It seems like how many years have you been elected Ward 4 councillor?
13 years.
Wow.
So three. I've been elected 3 terms. This is my 4th term.
Wow. So tell us about it. What's special about this election, if anything is?
Well, I don't think anything specifically is special. I still believe that one of the reasons I'm running is because I believe that there are still things that I need to do. Issues that I need to deal with. I mean, on top of the subway, which is the bigger issue.
So why don't you tell us what's Ward 4 for those of us that don't know?
Sure. Well, Ward 4 is a very strange boundary. Yeah. It's got the furthest, I guess, the northeast corner would be Bathurst and Teston Row. Then you come down along Bathurst, and then it cuts across on 407. So everything north of 407 is part of mine. And then it goes towards to the goal line. So it goes along the goal line to Steeles. And then right across Steeles all the way to 400, Highway 400.
Oh, wow.
Comes all the way up 400 to Rutherford, and right across Rutherford back to the goal line and up to Teston Row.
That's a big area.
Yeah, I think my area is one area that's very diversified. Not only am I representing residential, but I have the businesses in the industry. It's one of the most, I guess, from an economic point of view, it's one of the most growing area in the city. Would be in block in Ward 4, I should say.
Wow, are you excited?
I am because I am. You know why? Because the downtown is in my area. Vaughan Mills and downtown is my area, and they're both being developed. With the subway coming in, hopefully opening by 2016, 2017. That's the timeline. So when that subway opens up, it is going to open up to a downtown. So that has actually kicked off our whole development of downtown.
So the subway is going to come up to on.
It's the Downsview line.
Downsview line.
Yeah, we added 6 stations.
Dufferin, right?
No, actually it goes across. Where Dufferin is going to go across to Keele, go up Keele all the way through York University, across over to our side on Steeles, and then go through over up to Jane and all the way up to Jane and Highway 7.
Wow, I mean, it's like it would be like a dream come true to have a subway all the way there.
I am so proud. That's one achievement that I'm so proud of because I have had a hand in that, and the fact that we're having a subway coming into our downtown.
Amazing.
We're the only city outside of the 416 that will have a subway. It means that we're connected to Union Station. We're connected to Eaton Center everywhere.
It's amazing.
So we're really looking forward to that. And again, I say, it kickstart our entire development of our downtown.
Sure.
So as you know, and just about a few days ago, the premier was there. We kicked off the first corporate head office in the downtown, which is the head office of KPMG. So they're now building upwards, and then hopefully be seeing that opening up soon.
Wow! So we're going to have skyscraper.
Yeah, residential. Wow. So it'll be a very different downtown when you're going to drive by in a few years. You're going to say, "Wow, look at all these residential and office component," and we're putting in an urban square. The urban square is about the same size as Dundas Square, so you can imagine. So we have it right on top of where the subway is. We're going to have a sort of like a Central Park. Like New York, the Central Park, we will have a nice Central Park there. We want to bring it into almost very European style, attracting all the residents and people coming in.
We'll bring the people from downtown to our town.
That's right. Absolutely, absolutely. And as you know, my passion is, of course, in the music and arts. So I'm still pushing for the Performing Arts Design and Cultural Campus to come into the downtown. It's a campus that not only is it just for performance or for showcasing your talent, but also to bring different institutions to provide programs, such as OCAD and U of T and Royal Conservatory, all of them different
art programs.
Exactly, to provide it for people that aren't able to get downtown, for one thing, or to new immigrants who has come in who may have that but then don't have the Canadian qualification to be able to be employed. They can take some of these courses. And also to people that are in second career, people that have finished, they're retired, they're not doing the first career anymore, they're looking for something else to do. those are the type of people we're really attracting.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, I'm going to get to this.
Yes.
So I like to ask you. There was an article in the Vaughan Citizen by one of the reporters, Adam Robbins.
Yes.
Which talked about. Well, why don't you tell us about it?
Well, it's about the 9,000 bathers application. That's what it's about.
Is it the Jafar Center?
Yes, that's right. It's the Jafari Center.
The Jafari Center.
So
Jafari Center.
That's right. So that came in, as you know, just giving you just a history on that.
Yep.
That came in back in February as a public hearing. The application came in, and there was a lot of people interested.
So let me just back up so people can understand what we're talking about. There was an application in February of 2014.
That's right.
Okay, where they wanted, it's Bathurst and Rutherford? No, Bathurst.
Yes, more or less, yeah.
Bathurst and Rutherford, where they wanted to build 3 or 4 skyscrapers.
2 17-story towers, along with townhomes in that area. So when the people learned about it, they were very upset to have this. I think they were upset just the tower alone itself. So, and because
it changes the whole area, the face of the area.
Because that entire area has predominantly been single homes or townhomes. That's what it is, okay? So when that came in, and people need to understand, though, that applicants can come in with the best type of application or the most ridiculous type of they can come in with whatever they want to.
Everybody has the right to submit an application.
Exactly. Okay. So it's their land, they can come in with it. It's up to us to decide whether is it appropriate to be here, and if not, then they have
us. Explain us
as a city. You know, as to approving it, whether we approve something like this or we think that it needs to change, it needs to certain things needs to change. Whatever the case may be. So when this application came in, as I said, at the public hearing, I think we had over 1,000 people that showed up, okay? That was probably one of the biggest we've ever had. But it was good, because then we got to hear from the resident, because that's what public hearing is about. It's to hear from the public what their comments were. So we heard about it. Of course, we had to focus onto purely into the planning aspect of it, because that's all we can deal with. We're governed under the Planning Act. So whatever the application comes in is what are the planning issues.
Of course, you can't go to emotion.
That's
it's got nothing to do with emotion.
That's right. Even though I totally appreciate that there's a lot of emotion
but you can't.
That's right, because we're guided with that. Exactly. So when that came in, and when I saw that outcry, so what I said was I put a motion in during the public hearing saying that we need to have a working group. The working group would consist of residents, would include the applicant, obviously, and the city staff and council members. Let's try to identify what are the issues. Let's try to see how we can resolve those issues. That was what the working group, and this is nothing abnormal. We've done that in other applications when it's also controversial. We do that
makes sense.
because we think that it's dialogue is always better.
Absolutely.
You know, to hear what's going on, see how we can resolve it. So a working group was put together. We, the council, we had given it 5 months to let them work it out and see what happens, and then come back with an update. That was what staff's direction was. So we did that. The working group, it started slowly, I have to say. It took a little bit of pulling people together. We finally got people together. We finally tried to really sort of focus and identify only the issues that were out. Example, like density, height, traffic issues, sewage thing.
Schooling, from what I understood.
Schooling was another thing. So there was a number of issues that were identified, and parking, obviously. So we identify all those, and then we worked on it, but it wasn't working so much until the community, and I have to give credit to the community, the Preserve Thornhill Woods group. They came up with a plan that they foresee that may work. So they brought it up in front of our working group, and we gave it to the applicant and say, we want to see something like this, right? So they went back, and they came back with something similar, not total, but they did make some changes and some height changes and that. So when they came back that time, it became really 3 stories. I consider 3 stories, even though they say it's 2, but it's really 3, but lower. So it was like, I can't remember exactly, I think it was like 10, 12, something like that, of a height. So they did come down in the height, And then they took the density and moved it over to the townhomes, which wasn't what the residents wanted. It was too much density going into townhomes. So when I assessed all that, then by that time, staff was directed to come back with a report, which I worked with the staff behind the scene. I said, I need a report back before the end, because of being an election year, September was the last meeting we had. I said, I need to have something back before we end off this session, because people need to know. Sure. I said, people are all sitting on the, seems like they're sitting on a bed of rocks and trying to figure out what's going on. So that I said, I need to give some ease to our residents to know that what are we doing and so forth. So they came back, the staff came back with basically a chronology of what happened, what did we do, what has taken place and so forth. And at the September 2nd meeting, which is the committee of the whole last meeting, and listening to the people that came in and everything, I had in fact actually prepared 2 motions on that the night before. I think I did it like 12 midnight because I had to do a lot of thinking, try to figure out how we're going to deal with this. I put one that was going to move it, continue forward, and continue working as a working group, or the other way was to reject the proposed application as it is and ask them to come back with a new application with a more comprehensive plan is what. So that is the plan. In fact, that was the motion that I put in place.
So this is where it stands right now.
Correct.
They have to come back.
That's right. So what I have done is I put a very definitive guidelines. They had to follow. They have to come back with a master plan. They have to come back abiding by the guidelines that we had already talked about and addressing issues like height and all those things has to be addressed. Plus, they have a timeline. So by November 15th, they have to come back with this plan.
And if they don't?
If they don't abide by it, we have already given direction to staff to come back with a full technical report to us for council to make that final decision. If they do abide by it, then the working group is going to come back together, take a look at it, and if it's something that they think is workable, it's something that is palatable for everyone else, then we may make changes, refine some of the changes, whatever the case, and move forward with that.
So it's basically not off the table yet. It's
no,
still
it's not off the table because, see, the one thing that people have to understand is under the Planning Act, we cannot reject an application without a full technical report. And we need to be careful. So I, as a responsible elected official, I can't just say, I know a lot of people are saying, oh, why don't you just reject it? Why don't you? I can't do that. Yeah. Because if I do that, we would put the city in jeopardy. We would put the citizens in jeopardy. Yeah. Because
you have to follow the rules.
No, what happens is because the applicant can very well, because if we don't follow the rules, they can go to OMB. They can go to OMB right away. And the OMB says, well, city, you guys are wrong because you guys didn't have a technical report. Yeah. You cannot make it. So we prejudge a decision without having a technical report. Yep. And that's what we didn't want to do. And so I didn't want to lose control because once you go to OMB, we as a city lose total control. They can say whatever. They can come back and say to us, oh, you know what? You're going to have a 10-story or 12-story and you won't have a say on that. Gotcha. And that's the reason why I'm trying to protect our citizen. But
so that's what the people have to understand.
And, and they need to understand that there is a due process that we must follow in order. I hear what the residents say. I work with the residents. I have always worked with the residents and represented their voice. But we just need to do it in an appropriate way. And that's the way we had to do it.
So tell me, why should the citizen of Vaughan, Ward 4, vote for Sandra Racco?
Well, I think because I've delivered. I've delivered proven results, positive results for the community. On top of all these things, I mean, this is just one issue, of course, you know. But the bigger issue, of course, was fighting the casino. I led that. I was, when this whole issue of casino coming to Vaughan came up, I was the only person out of 9 members of council that was against the casino. I did my research. I did a lot of research. Absolutely. I talked to a lot of residents. I put a survey out and everything to find out what are their take. Because maybe it's just me. If I don't, and everybody else wants it, then I have to represent what the Absolutely. But the residents didn't want it. There was overwhelming 80-90% of the people says, no, we don't want to. And for the very reason is that if you bring a casino into the downtown, which we're trying to develop, it will just kill everything else because no serious head office is going to move into our downtown.
Sure, when there's a
and
casino,
nobody, I mean, you and I wouldn't want to live next to a casino, you know? And we built a subway for what? So that we can have our people to go. We certainly don't want just only gamblers going back and forth on the subway either. You know, my children and your children are going to be riding the subway, right? So all in all, it doesn't work. I know people are saying, and some of my colleagues, the mayor was saying that, oh, but you know, we're going to bring so much money in. So it's
money is not always everything.
it's instant gratification. That's what it is. You will see it maybe the first year, second year, and then slowly all the other compounding issues is going to come, and you're going to lose. All you need to do,
too late.
You take a look at Atlantic City. Take a look at Niagara Falls. Take a look at those cities. Are they booming? Are they? No. Atlantic City is a perfect example where we thought was going to be the greatest thing next to Las Vegas. There now, everybody has moved out, and it's gotten really bad. That, in fact, I think just lately, the new mayor or whoever it is, they're going to take a lot of the closing down a lot of the casino because it just doesn't work. It's not the casino only works in a place where it has no other industry. We're very thriving industry. We don't need a casino to help us thrive. And that's one of the reasons why.
So I like to hear, how did you defeat all the nine? How did you persuade them to go to your to your side?
Well, actually, it wasn't just me. We had a whole team called the No Casino Vaughan. Actually, it was led by my husband and a few other residents. And they spread the words, and we talked to everybody, and we talked to the seniors, even the seniors, which is really casino. We seem to attract a lot of the seniors. They don't want it because they know. And I talk to kids. I talk to young kids, and they don't want it because they don't want to see their downtown becoming a total, you know. So I think just from talking to people, and I think they realize, and I think the big move was, of course, the deputy mayor, Gino Rosati. I have to give him credit. He came back to refuse it. When he refused that and turned that around, it became a 5-4. So it was a 5-4 at one point. All the late answered the case. So by the end of the day, we got to 7-2. So I was very happy with that because that is truly what a elected official should be doing, is representing the best interests of the community.
Absolutely.
And I believe that I've done that. I have continuously doing that all through my entire political life here in the city of Vaughan. I will continue doing that because that's what I want to do. See, I take this role not as a job, as some people would take it as a job. This is my passion. I want to make sure that the community is the best. Why? Because I live in this community. You live in this community. We want the best of the best, you know, and that's the reason why I think people should seriously look at me as the candidate to vote, because I think that I have proven to them what I've done. I've delivered on, and on top of that, I've delivered on libraries, I've delivered on community centers, parks.
Yes, I've heard. I don't live in Vaughan, but I've heard that you actually accomplished a library in Thornhill Woods.
Yes,
That's amazing.
It was another difficult part because there wasn't the money in the budget and everything, and we needed, it's young families within the Thornhill Woods area, we needed a library, so we fought hard, and I made sure that we got the library.
Wonderful. Is it open?
No, it will be opening hopefully by the end of this year.
Oh,
so I'm looking forward to that too.
So you really have done a lot of things.
I think I have, and I will continue doing it because I know there's still a lot of things that we need to do in the city. A lot of things we need to do within our community, a lot of things we need to address as a city as a whole. And I really want to work, and of course, I wouldn't even touch on it, traffic gridlock is huge, huge. And I'm one of the biggest proponents when it comes to traffic gridlock. It's about getting a comprehensive traffic plan, not about just building subway. It's one thing just to get a subway, but if you don't have the proper busing to connect people from east to west to go north and south, it's not going to make a difference, you know? So we need to work on that. We need to work on all other type of public transportation, like the GO transit. Because right now we have GO services, but it's only in the morning and afternoon.
I know.
And it doesn't help. Because one of the things that people will go on GO is if you have the services. So I'm pushing very hard for all-day services in this on the GO line. I've been talking to the Minister of Transportation. I've spoken to the Premier about that. I will continue lobbying for that because I believe that If you get all-day services there, more people will go and
Absolutely,
go,
sure.
and there won't be such a rush, and there won't be such so much traffic congestion. You know, I understand there are people that will need to drive. I have no doubt about that. But there's also those people that can have the option of taking public
that
transit.
want to take public transportation,
Exactly.
but don't have
so
the
we want to
opportunity
make
right
sure
now.
that we have both, and we want to have it beneficial to both the transit riders as well as the motorists. That's what we want. And of course, pushing for a parking structure at the GO station is hugely important.
She needs another 4 years to do everything she wants to do. I got to tell you that. Sandra, I wish you good luck.
Thank you.
I wish
Thank
I could
you.
vote for you, but I can't. Really, Monday, October 27. Good luck. I hope
Thank
to
you.
see you here again. I hope you stay with us for
Thank
another
you.
4 years. You're wonderful. You're doing a great job, and continue doing wonderful job. I have to say goodbye to everybody, and hope you enjoy the show, and we'll see you again next week. Thank you.
Thank you.